I couldn't be more excited for today's guest. I'm actually sitting in my guest for Healthy Bytes house, I feel like. This is Bob McCutcheon, Robert William McCutcheon, better known as Bob McCutcheon. I like to call him the great Bob McCutcheon. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for your mentorship, your coaching. We're at Neville Island.
Yeah.
And we're at the Vault Recording Studio, owned, operated by...
Yeah, it's our place. Yeah, it's a family-owned business.
Jimmy
here.
owns the business. Speaking of third person.
Yeah, it's our business. We bought the building back in 2014 and opened it up in 18.
One thing before we get going on what it is. Why did you choose Neville Island?
It's close to home. I mean, that's a Aaron Neville.
Aaron Neville.
Aaron
That's
Neville.
all I can think
there
about.
We go.
Just enjoy it for a second. Famous.
Great voice.
Him and Linda Ronstadt.
There we go.
I am an 80s guy, so I don't know why, but I started talking about Aaron Neville, and I just can't get that out of my head, so I had to play the song. So tell me about,
Neville
what
Island.
is this? What is this?
So it's a recording studio. We built it and completed it around 2016. It was a personal project studio of ours that we started actually running more commercially in 2018. But this thing here is a vintage Neve console. But the most interesting part about it is the original owner of this in 1977 was George Harrison.
George Harrison.
The George Harrison.
Like the Bob McCutcheon.
Of the Beatles. Had it in his studio in Nashville, and then he sold it to Scott Litt, who was a famous producer who had it in his studio in L.A. Scott produced R.E.M. He did Nirvana's MTV Unplugged.
Nirvana.
Yeah, a lot of famous
My
records.
brother Adam loved Nirvana.
Yeah,
That's what I remember.
Well, yeah.
You know, one of the big things with Healthy Bytes is that we're going to merge in some eating and talking about what's healthy and what's going on today. But before we do that, I will never forget meeting you. You're always accessible. And I remember the two of us meeting at PPG Place. And as I joined PwC in 2010, November of, I remember thinking, like, you have the coolest role, right? I mean, a city this size of Pittsburgh, and I'm like, like, that's a cool role, right?
Yeah, this guy here is the one who looked at me and said, I want your job.
Is that something you shouldn't say to somebody?
No, it worked. I was happy to give it to you.
And I said, I want it in 10 years. And you said, how about 5? And I'm like, ooh, that's too close, right? It ended up being 7.5, and we'll get into kind of the timetable on that. But tell us about yourself. You went from, accountant to musician, right? Mm-hmm. That's quite a hop. Give us your background.
Actually, truth be told, I went from musician to accountant back to musician.
Wait, picture, please.
Yeah.
That's Bob's picture as a rocker.
Yeah. I was always a musician. I, played in bands and wrote and recorded music all the way back in high school when I started my first recording studio, actually working my way through college. And so the idea was that I was going to major in business and be smart about running my own business. And really...
Where'd you go to school?
Robert Morris University.
How far is that?
About 10 minutes from the island here.
Literally,
as a matter of fact, they have
it.
A sports complex on the island here.
Named after Aaron Neville.
Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, and it just, I kind of fell into the accounting and had a knack for that and started with the firm. So I started with Coopers and Lybrand at the time, right out of college. And, I always kept, playing and always had my gear and everything. And then it was later in life. And so my two boys, Ryan and Brett, were both musicians. And, so you could see the passion for music continuing in the family. And so it was later on. It's literally, funny story. I was coming back. I was on a business trip in Europe, coming back on the transatlantic flight, watching the documentary Sound City on the plane on the way home. And if anybody's familiar with it, Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, Nirvana, did this incredible documentary about Sound City, the recording studio where Nirvana recorded Smells Like Teen Spirit. Well, the history going all the way back to Fleetwood Mac in that studio and the way he told that story blew my mind. But that studio had a Neve console. And so...
how many buttons are on this thing?
Yeah, there's 3 or 4. Yeah.
100.
Yeah. It's not as bad as it looks. But it inspired me to then say, well, I always wanted a studio, so why don't I build a studio? And so We bought the building. It's literally 5 minutes from home here. And Dana, Brett, and Ryan and I all kind of put our heart and soul into building this place.
He says he bought the building. What he didn't say, it was an old commercial bank. No,
Yeah.
not what kind of bank was it?
Yeah, I mean, it was literally, it was the Neville Island Bank branch.
The Aaron Neville Island Bank branch.
Has the vault in the basement.
Literally. So
Yeah.
we're gonna show that.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a little walk later and show the vault.
It's now a reverb chamber. So.
Yes. I mean, truly, truly amazing. All right, Bob. We're gonna take a little time out here, and we're gonna pivot the show to the healthy side of this.
Well, before we do, I want to know: are you wearing a suit hoodie? It looks like it's pinstriped to me.
Okay. I told you couldn't tease me too much on the show. This is a suit hoodie. I chose this outfit specifically for Bob. Because Bob is always well dressed, and we usually used to see each other at client sites or in the office, and we're in full suits and ties. I didn't want you to miss too much of the gear, but I still had to make sure that I wanted the vibe of the show to be kind of cool. And some people are saying right now, well, your suit hoodie is not cool, but that's okay. It's cool to me.
That's very cool. This is about as dressed up as I get anymore.
Yeah, but I like the little
yeah.
the vault recording studio. It's a good plug. Bob's probably more corporate today than I am, right? I mean, this is your studio, beyond impressive, and I can't wait to talk about the Mr. Rogers story.
Oh, there we go.
Our neighborhood friend. All right, let's go health. Grab these napkins.
Okay.
All right. Take out your 3 spoons.
Okay.
These smoothies, my daughter Mia, she doesn't eat much. And so she's still eating she's going to be really mad at me when she sees this. She's still eating the younger child. I won't say the word. The younger child is 0, 1, or 2 eat. And if she doesn't eat her vegetables or fruit, my wife Beth will say, here it is. And it's like some bizarre flavors, but she eats it. So I thought these are actually becoming pretty trendy now for adults. A lot of plant protein.
That's great for when you're on the move. Right?
On the move. It's almost as if you had my notes. There's definitely on the move. Smell it for a second. Oh, by the way, supposedly it helps out with anxiety. Our first one's going to be sweet potato goji. Provides immune system support, possible benefits, as I said, healthy skin, stabilization so we don't tip over, and reduces anxiety and a whole host of other things.
So this is going to give me that healthy glow.
I already have a healthy glow. You got a great glow. All right, let's do it.
All right.
You want to do a big bite? Are you going all in? Or are you going
we'll
all in?
go
You're going
in.
big bite.
I'm adventurous. It's not bad.
Whoa. You got to taste it now in your mouth. It's got this, like an apple sauce.
Yeah, it's actually...
But I tell you what, I can't look at it. It really looks like when Chewy's not feeling.
Looks like baby food.
I actually kind of enjoy
It's sweet.
It. Has an aftertaste. And I also taste at the end of it, I taste like this, like sand in my mouth.
It's
plaster. Not that I've had plaster recently, but
like library paste, which I always laugh when somebody said it tastes like library paste. Who eats library paste?
What is that?
You don't remember library paste?
Bob, you're older than me.
Yeah, I'm dating myself now.
Next one. Second one. Now this looks a little liquidy, and again, people take this. They want to grab and go. They want a more healthy option. And by the way, plant protein is like the thing, which to me, plant and protein is like an oxymoron.
The liquid
it looks
chocolate
like a chocolate. Unfortunately, it's not chocolate. I mean, actually, you know what?
You're going to disappoint me.
No, there's a little cocoa in there.
Okay.
Nut butter smoothie, peanut butter. And by the way,
I was going to say, because if there's not chocolate, it's hazelnut.
Ooh, hazelnut's hot too, but it's not so healthy. I don't know if hazelnut's healthy. Isn't hazelnut in that big chocolate snack that kids all eat now? I forget. I can't say.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Delicious plant-based smoothies on the go. Knead and squeeze before opening. Oops, I didn't do that. I didn't give it pressure, so we're probably eating the top of it. You might want to mix it. Let's mix it up.
Stir it up here a little bit.
This is we could drink this. Should we drink it? I'm drinking it. Oh, that is strong. That's the banana part kicking in.
Yeah, there's very strong banana. But see, I like banana. Chocolate and banana, that's a good combination.
Bob, that does not taste like chocolate on a banana.
Yeah, it does to me.
All right, good. Everybody's got their own opinion. That's why it's the show. Now we're going to go to the last one. Ready? Blueberry and beet plant protein. Again, superfoods, which we'll talk about. I think I'm going to have Mia tell us about.
The high vitamin and mineral content found in superfoods can help your body ward off diseases and keep you healthier.
Oh, here's the big one. Maki berry. And by the way, I read a lot about this before. Grows wild in the Patagonia region of Chile. Not Chile, but Chile.
Dad, it's my key berry.
And has an antioxidant capacity of up to 4 times a blueberry. So why am I ever eating blueberries then?
I don't know.
All right, Bob's going in.
I'm going in
on this one.
I'm going.
Big bite. Get it big.
Ooh. Did you smell it first?
Oh. It tastes much better than it smells.
I actually think this would be good cold.
Oh. It's interesting you should bring that up.
I mean,
it also says no refrigeration needed, but get a load of this. Then it says refrigerate after opening and consume within 24 hours. All right, well, guess what? We're gonna rate it on the scale of later in the show. Mia, no thank you, I don't want that. Or to Evan, which is, I'll take yours and I'll take more. To Mr. Chew, I eat everything. Mr. Chew is the dog. All right. Now, with no segue whatsoever, Bob, we're going to go back to technology, right? Because this is about Healthy Bytes, BYTES, Healthy Bytes. If you could be part of any band in the world of all time, any decade, what would Bob McCutcheon been part of?
That's a tough one. If I really wanted to go back in time, I'd love to be a member of the Beatles. But
I can't see you walking across that street, though.
I actually have a picture.
Of you walking across that street?
I have a picture of me with the boys walking across the.
When I put my hand up right here in the middle, that means we're getting a picture of that. So I want that picture. I want a picture.
It's not a great picture. I'm in like tourist clothes.
You retired early in your career. I mean, you're still you're still energetic. You're still going. You're still moving. Still good looking. Not that we get ugly in life, but like you got everything going. 50-something years old. I won't give away your age. Why the quick switch career wise?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's there's a couple of reasons. Probably the most important one was we had a tragedy that occurred in our lives. We lost our older son Ryan back in 2017, and I think that was just a moment of clarity, right? So we kind of hit a point where we decided we needed to stop and pause and, think about, what we wanted to do with our time, what our purpose was. I had an amazing career at the firm. Love PwC, and it's done so much for us. And I miss a lot of that to this day. But it was also a point where we just said, we need to focus on a different purpose. The studio was a family venture. It was something that was important to all of us. Music's always been a big part of our lives. And so I think it was a chance for us to do something together as a family and just kind of turn the page. And, I'm as busy today as I was at the firm. I'm just doing very different things.
You used to tell me that every day is Saturday, though.
Every day is
I think
Saturday.
You mentioned that to my better half, Beth, right? And we have breakfast here and there. And you guys would rap about some song, which we'll find online, that like every day is Saturday. That's me trying to sing. I can't sing. I think Ryan would be beyond proud and happy of what you, Dana, and Brett have done. I can't walk around the studio here without seeing Ryan somewhere, which I think is unbelievable. We're going to figure out a way to dedicate the first season of shows at the end and show Ryan his picture and the Rhythm 19 Fund.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, this is never easy. Just awful. And but you guys are trying to move forward and do what you can do. And he would be saying thank you. He's smiling right now at this conversation in this studio that you are working day to day with Dana. I'm not sure Dana, does she want to see you every day in the studio? She just said that you tried to get her to come back to the studio daily. And she's been great. Like when you and I were preparing for this, I love seeing her. But does she really want to be with you every day?
It's interesting because, I kind of joke around that this is my happy place, right? I mean, music is definitely cathartic in terms of where you can spend your time and how you can release some of that energy. So I can easily lose myself in this place, right? But Dana is very involved in everything that we do here, and she does play an active role. She's not overly musical, but she does have a passion for the work that we do. And the Rhythm 19 Fund is integral to what we do with the studio. So a lot of the activities and the events that we do that are Rhythm 19 events take place here at the studio when we bring, the school kids in and those sorts of things.
So tell us about Rhythm 19 Fund and what is what's the purpose of the organization
Yeah, so Ryan was a musician. He was a drummer, and but he was also a music instructor. And so very early on, we realized that to sort of celebrate his life and his memory, that something that was musical was important. So we set up the Rhythm 19 Fund through the Pittsburgh Foundation, and the concept and the mission behind the fund is to support music education and to provide opportunities, mostly to school children, teens, adolescents, but also those with special needs, but just to be able to touch people's lives through music, and to give them opportunities and exposure to things that they wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to do. So, so one of the things that we do is we actually bring field trips of students into the studio, and we get them to meet professionals, engineers, producers, artists, and then get to make a little bit of noise in this place, and it's not something you can often do.
You've always had a passion, I feel like, for education. I remember your role as you were preceding me, the Neighborhood Academy.
Sure.
Was and we still, PwC still supports the Neighborhood Academy here. Tell us about that. Give us the 1-minute version of what you were doing there and the team members at PwC.
Yeah, it's interesting because we've continued that relationship with the Neighborhood Academy through the Vault and the Rhythm 19 Fund as well. But if you remember the genesis, and Jennifer would remember it well, the Neighborhood Academy was, the firm at the time had Earn Your Future, which I think has taken on a couple of different names over time here. But the idea was that we were giving back with youth education, and we developed a partnership early on with the Neighborhood Academy. It's just a fantastic organization here in the school, 100% graduation rate, and we were doing financial literacy work at the time. But the model was to bring them in, give them tours of the office, get them exposed to the professional services environment and office environment. And we started building up programs that we started delivering on site in the school. We actually did a stock market center that was established where we actually put in some technology and the ticker sign and everything on the school site. So that model was what we did at PwC. What we've done here is, to a certain degree, mimicked a little bit of that model, where we're bringing the students in here. We're working with scholarship funds, and it's not just the Neighborhood Academy. We're doing it with a half a dozen different schools in the area. But that was one that was just a natural connection because I had that relationship through PwC. It was easy to extend that relationship in my life after PwC.
So. All right, we have to figure out a way for us to do more teaming.
Yeah.
Talking to the PwC Foundation. That would be great, right? Because we're trying to do all sorts of initiatives in the city. I asked the question about the Beatles. If Ryan picked a band that he'd be part of, what band would he be in there playing with? If he could have been any band, what would it be? And then I want to talk about Brett too. I want to hear what Brett's band would be.
It's interesting because there was a song by the band Green Day that, when Ryan first started playing drums, I remember we used to play it at home. And there's a certain irony to it because Jimmy Hoyson, who's now the chief engineer here.
I see. Are those his Grammys back there?
Those are his Grammys in the back there. He's a 6-time Grammy winner. But actually, he did the work on Green Day's American Idiot. So I find it sort of ironic that, we've come full circle. But I think if we were to play a song in here and it would be by a band, it would be Holiday by Green Day.
All right. How about Brett?
Brett's a sax guy. I mean, he's a.
Is that like Kenny G?
Yeah, he's a jazz cat, no doubt. So Brett's played piano since he was 4. He also was a drum captain. He still marches actively.
Oh, I've been there.
Playing marching drums.
I've watched with you.
Yeah.
NA on the field.
Yeah, and he's still marching an independent group now, even though he's at college. But his passion is jazz saxophone, and he's actually a music major right now at Slippery Rock. And he's arranging, he's writing, he's playing, he's recording, and he's a session player here. So
awesome.
Yeah, this is very much a place for him.
You and Dana have done it right. Awesome. Ryan was amazing, is amazing, and Brett is an amazing, amazing kid. Okay, we got to pivot here quickly.
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers, and not everybody knows that the great Fred Rogers from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
The great Fred Rogers is from Pittsburgh. What's the story about when they were filming the Tom Hanks movie?
Oh,
something to do with they all of a sudden needed something, and the Vault recording studio was there as a good neighbor.
We had an opportunity, among others, in the city when they were filming the Mr. Rogers movie here in Pittsburgh. We had the opportunity to do some of the pre-records. Unfortunately, I didn't get Tom Hanks here in the studio, but we had a number of the other actors come through. If you think about how the movies are made, when they're singing in particular, and there's a number of times where they're singing songs in a movie, that's all pre-recorded in the studio, and then you actually lip sync it in the film itself. And so we had the chance to do some of those pre-records with some of the other actors. Ron Fair, who was the producer, famous producer, actually sat in this chair and did all of the work.
How did they find you? How did they know about the vault?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure. Probably just online. You're looking for studios in the area. This attracts a lot of people. If
what is this? So let's talk about this quickly.
So this console is a vintage Neve. It's one of the most coveted recording consoles in the industry. It goes back to the mid-late 70s. It has a sound to it. They don't make these anymore. So this is rebuilt, about 800 hours of work going into rebuilding this. But when we have engineers, producers who are traveling from other cities, LA, New York, Nashville, if they're not working in those cities, they often look for something like this. They're hard to come by. And so it's a little bit of a field of dreams sort of concept. If you build it,
Nashville and Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I mean,
music cities.
Yeah. You'll find LA, Nashville, New York, the music cities. Sure. You'll have some studios that have these, but they're hard to come by.
Bob, it's that time. We have to look at these Healthy Bytes. All right, let's do it.
Which one first?
We're going to grab the sweet potato, goji. We don't know. We'll figure that out later.
Dad, it's goji berry.
Make sure you mix it up. Pasty. Down the hatch.
Down the hatch.
It's getting worse for me. So instead of Justin running out and grabbing the popcorn or the potato chips,
so you just
clearly
eat
better
it
than all
right out of the container.
Right, and by the way, no mess in the car, right?
No mess.
Bob, it's time to rate. All right,
we're gonna rate it.
Do you know the scale? The scale here. I'm gonna remind you the scale.
Okay.
It's 0-1 is a Mia, which is no, thank you. I don't want that. A 5 is an Evan, which is I'll take that. Dad, get out of the pantry. I'm gonna grab the extra last one. And then a 10 is a Chewy or Mr. Chew or Chewbacca. I'll eat anything. It doesn't matter if it's dirt. That's our dog.
Okay.
All right?
So, this isn't bad. It isn't bad. It's not like full of flavor to me, but it's sweet. I'd go to it. I mean, if I was on the run and I had to grab something, I would definitely go for this.
All right. What do we got?
I'd give this a 6.
6?
Yeah, I'd give it a 6.
Wow. I'm gonna clock in at a. It's not an Evan. It's not a 5. It's definitely not a 5.
No, it's not a 5.
3.2.
3.2.
Means I would eat it if I had to, but I'm not sure I would run to it.
Okay.
I think you said run. All right. Next up.
Okay.
Looks better than it might be, but I forget what it tasted like.
This one smells good too. That's important, right? Anything with chocolate is good. I'm gonna finish.
What do you got?
This.
Finish it up. What do you got? Oh, this might be the highest rating on the show yet. Here we go.
Yeah, it's it's not a candy bar chocolate.
Okay.
Right? But I would give that one a 7.
7?
I'd give it a 7.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Guess what? You are now the proud owner of the rest of the squeegee.
I will finish it too. Nut butter
For
smoothie.
me, I love banana, and there's a banana in here, but I don't really like it. I think I like the other one better. So this is a 2.7.
See, I got to go even numbers so I remember.
And the finale, which, by the way, looks like a smoothie. This looks like a smoothie.
This one, I'm not a fan. And I think it's the smell. Yeah, it actually tastes better than it smells. I mean, it's not bad. It's fruity. It's what you'd expect. But it does have that chalky aftertaste.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one a 4.5.
4. It's close to Evan. So you're saying I'll take it. Give me another though.
Yeah, I'd take any of these if I didn't have anything else. But
I'm gonna shock all of our 10,000 viewers on LinkedIn platform.
You're loving this one, aren't you?
And our 18 viewers on YouTube. So please subscribe. 18 is like my mother and all of her friends. I'm gonna give this a 6.4.
Whoa!
Yeah,
that's big time.
I like it. Yeah.
Wow. So we are like polar opposites in terms of
well.
yeah.
I mean, It's quite fitting. Me in my suit hoodie and you with your music. Well,
And this is dressed up for me now.
and I hate to say it, Bob, but I think if we were doing this and you were still at PwC, you'd probably have a nice suit on, and I'd still have the hoodie. So,
I haven't seen my suits in a long time. A long time.
Bob, tell me about the Smokey Robinson story. Is it true that Smokey was here?
Twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
I met him once. So I kind of cheated.
Yeah. We've actually had Smokey here for 2 different events. The last one was actually a Rhythm 19 fundraising event. Smokey has his own line of wine. So he was actually here and he had signed autographs. So we had about 150 people here in the building. And we actually have a live space downstairs, stage, lights, everything. And so while he was up here actually in that room signing autographs, we had a Motown set going on downstairs. Brett and his friends did a jazz set early on in the evening. But absolutely sweetest guy, hugged everybody in the room pre-COVID.
I got a hug.
Yeah.
I got a hug.
Yeah. Really sweet guy. But you've had a chance to meet him, so you know.
Super nice guy.
Yeah. He's got a Pittsburgh connection. So his wife Frances is from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
They actually have a house here in the North Hills. Her kids are still in the area, so they're usually back here in Pittsburgh a couple of times a year. So.
All right. We always ask our guests, Bob, of a rejection story. People want to know that we too have been rejected. What's your best rejection story?
So, ironically, I also received a rejection letter from one of the 2 firms out of college, but I got a job with the other firm, and then we
nice.
ended up merging. So,
It is the same story. I got acquired.
yeah. So,
So are you saying that both of us, our companies that we work for, didn't have a choice?
Yeah, exactly. Clearly didn't want us, but we were persistent. No, the other one I joked around with Dana this morning. I said I think actually probably the biggest rejection I have is now that I'm retired and I'm working in a recording studio. I wanted to grow my hair, and she told me absolutely not. The 2 things I can't do is grow my hair and grow a mustache.
Now she won't let you?
No, can't do it.
I'll talk to her.
Can't do it.
I'll talk to her.
So I've been rejected.
All right. Well, that's it for Healthy Bites today, Bob. I want to thank you, one, is for hosting the TV show here.
Well, thanks for being here. It's exciting to have you guys here. So
And-
it's a lot of fun.
And more importantly, I want to thank you for our friendship. You are an unbelievable individual. Your wife's a little bit better than you, Dana. She's not here. I thought she was just
Definitely
sneaking.
my better half.
She's definitely your better half, but so is Beth, my better half too. So we
That's where I
love
get all my credibility, by the way.
well, most of it. We love you guys tremendously, and thank you. And the friendship is just amazing. And then if I lose my job at PwC, I think I could do stuff around here.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
I
Do
came
you know how
up
to
with the
make coffee,
centerpiece.
or-
I know what to serve you.
There you go.
That's it, Bob. Thank you. Thanks for
thank
having
you.
us. Love you, man.
Love you, man.
Absolutely love you.